Okay, good afternoon everyone and welcome back to your chemistry class. In the last class, we were discussing about the sorry, not we. In the last class, you might have discussed about the basics of solution. And in last class, also we started the new chapter called solution. Okay, in which you have studied about the basics of solution. What are the basic terms which we are going to use? What are the type of solutions? Homogeneous solution, heterogeneous solution, right? And you might have also discussed about some basic concepts and terms in this which will be used in a solution, and which we had also discussed earlier in the first chapter called uh, basic some basic concepts of chemistry. Okay, there also we have discussed about some basic terms regarding the concept, right? So that much we had. Sorry, you guys already have studied in the last class. So today we are going to discuss about this solubility. What is solubility? When compounds are going to be soluble? When they will not be soluble? And what are the different type of what are the different types of solubility? Then how does solubility gets affected through by temperature, by pressure? Okay, and we are going to talk about the Henry's. What is the Henry law? Okay, we are going to illustrate in today's class. So before starting with that, let's quickly have some recall questions from the last class, and then we are going to proceed forward. Okay, so everybody is ready with pen and paper. First question on your screen is the molarity of solution containing 4 gram sodium hydroxide in 500 ml water is. What is the molarity of solution which consists 4 gram NaOH in 500 ml of water? Yes, we will calculate the molarity now. Okay, Naveen. Guys, poll is also running now. Poll is also running, so quickly respond on the poll as well. Okay, sure. Okay, so let's release the results first. So as you can see, 67% of you are saying option C and 33% are saying option B. So let's quickly check what is the correct answer before moving it forward. We have a solution which consists of 4 gram NaOH, that is solute, and 500 ml water which is a solvent, right? Which is a solvent. Now, if we add 4 gram NaOH in this 500 ml water, the volume of solution will be almost same as volume of a solvent. Why? Because we are adding very few amount of a solute. So volume of solution becomes 500 ml, and the molarity is basically, what is molarity? Molarity is number of moles of the solute divided by volume of solution in a liter. If this volume is in ml, then you multiply by 1000, and if this is already in liter, then no need to multiply by n. So 500 ml can be written as 0.5 liter, right? 500 ml can be written as 0.5 liter. If we can write like that, then we have to calculate the moles of solute. So let's calculate the moles of solute. So moles of NaOH is equals to mass of NaOH divided by molar mass of NaOH. Can anybody tell me what is the molar mass of sodium hydroxide, guys? Can anybody tell me what is the molar mass of sodium hydroxide? Very good, Naveen. Vishwaji, it's 40 gram per mole. So if you solve this one, this is going to be 0.1. So let's put those values here. So number of moles of solid is 0.1. Volume of solution is 0.5 liter. If this is moles and this is liter, you don't have to multiply by anything. This is 1 by 5, and when you solve this one, it will be 0.2 mole per liter. The molarity of solution containing 4 grams sodium hydroxide in 500 ml water is 0.2 m. Hence, the correct answer is option D and not C. Okay, that is clear. Quickly click on yes if you have a doubt, and quickly write in the chat section. Yes, yes, do it quickly now. Quickly. Okay, then let's move forward to the next question. Then the next question is the mass of glucose is required to prepare a 0.2 m solution. This m is small m, means molality. It means molal. Okay. Solution if the weight of solvent is 500 gram. You know the weight of solvent is given and the molality is also given. So what is the amount of glucose required? Molar mass of glucose is 180 gram per mole, which is given also. Okay, Padma. Okay, no problem. If you want more time, I'll give you more time. So let me give 1 more minute. So guys, I'm launching the poll now. So quickly respond on the poll. Okay, Shwati. Okay, Shankar. Okay, let's see the results first. So as you can see, 8% of you are saying option A, 38% are saying option B, 23% are saying option C, and 31% are saying option D. So let's quickly figure out what is the correct answer here. Okay. So here we have been given the information regarding the molality. So molality is basically moles of solute divided by mass of solvent in kilogram, right? In a kg. If the mass of solvent is not given in kg, it's given in gram, then we multiply by 1000. Okay. Here the mass of solvent is, what are the information given? Mass of solvent is 500 gram, which can be written as 0.5 kg. Molality is given as 0.2. And so let's calculate the mass of solute first, and then we can calculate the mass of solute. So molality, if you put the values in this particular formula, then this will be 0.2 is equals to, we don't know the moles, so moles of glucose divided by mass of solvent is 0.5 kg, right? Hence moles of glucose is 0.2 into 0.5 is equals to 0.1. So we have 0.1 mole of glucose. We have to calculate the mass of glucose. So mass of glucose is basically moles into molar mass, which will be 0.1 into 180 equivalent to 100. So 0.1 into 180 is equals to 18 gram. So the mass of glucose required to prepare 0.2 molar solution of glucose is 18 gram. Hence the correct answer is option D. If that is clear, quickly click on yes. If you have any doubt, then quickly write in the chat section. Okay, then let's move forward. Let's talk about the learning objective of today's class. Today we'll be discussing about the solubility. What is the solubility, and what are the factors which affect the solubility? And then we are going to talk about the Henry's law. What is Henry's law? Okay. So let's start. Before starting with the solubility, let's quickly have a recall of the all the concentration terms. So there are multiple concentration terms. First of those is molarity. First of those is molarity. Molarity is basically moles of solute divided by volume of solution in a liter, or you can also say moles of solute divided by volume of solution in ml into 1000. Okay. The second term is molality. Molality is moles of solute divided by mass of solvent in kg, or if you take mass of solvent in gram, then it will be moles of solute divided by mass of solvent in gram into 1000. Now, molarity and molality looks similar. So why do we need molality? Because molality is temperature independent, whereas molarity is temperature dependent. Okay, that's why we use molality. The next one is mole fraction. Mole fraction is moles of component I, means any component A, I or A divided by total moles in a solution. जो भी हमारे पास जो component है, whatever component we have, what's the mole of those that particular component divided by what is the total number of moles in our entire solution. Add the moles of all the components present in the solution. That is a mole fraction. It's also written as Na divided by summation of Ni. Right? Or I can also say N total. Also write it as N total. Okay, and if you do summation of moles is known as Xi, summation of X is Xa, right? The summation of Xi is 1 always. Small fraction of all, sum of mole fraction of all the component will be always 1. Okay. These terms we had already discussed in the last year, basic concept of chemistry. Then we had discussed some more terms, and this is percentage weight by weight. That is the mass of solute in gram divided by mass of solution in gram into 100%. Then there was percentage weight by volume, which was mass of solute in gram divided by volume of solution in ml into 100%. There's one more term regarding the percentage weight by weight and percentage weight by volume. There is percentage volume by volume, which was equivalent to volume of solute in ml divided by volume of solution in ml into 100%. Clear? Okay. So try to increase the volume of your device now. Try to increase the volume of your device. Okay, so these consultation terms we had already discussed, but there is one more consultation term, and these terms we had already discussed in last class as well. Another important concentration term is ppm. That's known as parts per million. Parts per million. Okay, as its name suggests, parts per million means what is the part in 1 million solution, right? Or should I say, what are the parts of solute in 1 million parts of solution? And how those parts can be defined is, it can be defined in 3 terms: percentage weight by weight, percentage weight by volume, percentage volume by volume, ppm, right? In these 3 ways, ppm can be defined. So the ppm is basically parts of solute divided by parts of solution into 10 to the power 6, because we are talking about it in 1 million. What are the number of parts in 1 million? 1 million is basically 10 to the power 6. Okay, so if you are talking about the percentage weight by weight parts per million, then it will be weight of solute in gram divided by weight of solution in gram into 10 to the power 6. Okay, so let me write here percentage weight by weight ppm is equals to mass or weight of solute divided by mass of solution. Sorry, both are in grams into 10 to the power 6 into 10 to the power 6. Clear? So that's the another consideration term which you have not studied in the last year, but which will be useful this year around. Okay. So are you guys clear on that? If you are clear so far, quickly click on yes. If you are in doubt, then quickly write in the chat section. Okay. Okay, then let's move forward then. Let's talk about the solubility now. Let's talk about what is this solubility. Okay. So we had used the term solubility a lot of the times in last year as well. In last few chapters as well. So what exactly is solubility? Can you really tell me what is solubility? Can you really tell me what is solubility? Anyone? No. I'm asking about what is solubility. No. Okay. Okay. Wait, wait, wait. You're getting somewhere close, but not exactly what I wanted. So no problem. No problem. Some of you are saying mixing of solute with solvent. Some are saying dissolving nature. Some are saying concentration of dissolved substance. Some are saying ability of solvent to dissolve in solvent. Well, not exactly. Basically, solubility is the maximum amount of a substance which can be dissolved in our solvent. Okay, maximum amount of solute which can be dissolved in a particular solvent is known as solubility. So what is solubility? Solubility is the maximum amount that dissolves in the specified amount of solvent at a specified temperature is called solubility. So basically, see, let's say here we have a glass of water. Okay, this is the water. Now what you are doing is you are adding some salt in this. You are adding some NaCl in this. You started adding some NaCl. Initially, those NaCl were getting dissolved. Then you added some more NaCl. That particular NaCl also got dissolved easily, and you kept on doing that, right? After certain time, this NaCl was easily getting dissolved in this water. Okay, in this glass of water. But after a certain time, this NaCl stopped dissolving and it started precipitating down here. It started precipitating down here. So just before this precipitation started, just before this precipitation started, what is the amount of NaCl which has been dissolved in this water, this specified amount of water at a given temperature is called solubility. Is called solubility. Okay, and the solution at that particular time is called saturated solution. Is called saturated solution. So, if the amount of solute which you are dissolving is less than the solubility, then the solution will be unsaturated solution. And if the amount is higher than the solubility, then it will start precipitating. Okay, it will start crystallizing. Yeah, I clear on what exactly solubility. What is solubility? Okay, Neha, do you have doubt, Neha? Okay, no problem. So see, if we have a given solvent, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm repeating again, no problem. If we have a given solvent at a given temperature, we have a specified amount of solvent at a specified temperature, then what is the maximum amount of solute which we can add in that solvent without crystallization? Without crystallization means the solute should not start crystallizing. Okay, then that amount is called the solubility. That amount is called solubility. Okay, just simple thing. Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, let me explain in English. तो तुम्हारे पास में क्या है, पानी का एक ग्लास है या तुम्हारे पास में कप होगा, ठीक है, उसको हम पानी से फिल करो, उसमें NaCl ऐड करना शुरू, या तो तुम्हारे पास में सोल्ट होता है, नॉर्मल जो सोल्ट है उस सोल्ट को ऐड करना शुरू, you will see that at the beginning the salt is easily getting dissolved in the water. Salt is easily getting dissolved in the water. And with the time, you will see that it's taking a lot of time to dissolve. And after a certain time, no matter how much you wait or how much you stir that water, the salt is not getting dissolved. The salt is not getting dissolved. So the point where the salt stops dissolving, the point where the salt stops dissolving is called the saturation point. Is called the saturation point. The solution at that point is called saturated solution, and the amount dissolved is called this solubility. Okay, clear? Okay then. And if you have less amount of solute than the solubility, then our solution will be unsaturated solution. And if you have more amount of solute than the solubility, then the solute will start crystallizing. Okay. Now the solubility of any solute in any solvent, solubility of any solute in any solvent depends on three factors. It depends on three factors. First one is the nature of particles, means nature of solute and solvent. The second is the temperature, and third one is the pressure. There are the three factors which affect the solubility. Okay, whether the solubility will be higher, solubility will be lower, whether it is zero, all that depends on these three factors: nature of solute and solvent, the temperature, the pressure. Okay, so let's start with the nature of solute and the solvent. Let's start with the nature of solute and the solvent. I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to tell you that if you mix sodium chloride with NaCl in water, this is going to be soluble. It will be soluble. Okay. Whereas if I take naphthalene and dissolve in water, it's non-soluble. It's not soluble. So you have to tell me why that's it. Okay. Similarly, if you dissolve naphthalene in benzene, it will be soluble. Whereas if you put sodium chloride in benzene, it will not be soluble. It will not be soluble. So why these things are? Why sodium chloride is soluble in water but not in benzene? Why naphthalene is soluble in benzene but not in water? Why that's happening? Why that is it? So that means the solubility is depending on the nature of the solute and solvent, right? That is, the solubility is depending on the nature of solute and solvent. Okay. If it's depending on the nature of solute and solvent, then how does it depending? There is a universal rule for solubility, that is it, like dissolves like. Same right? Like dissolves like. Means what does that mean? Like dissolves like means it means polars will be dissolved in polar, non-polar will be dissolved in non-polar. So if you have polar solute, it will be soluble in a polar solvent, and non-polar solute will be soluble in a non-polar solvent. But polar will not be soluble in non-polar solvent, and non-polar solute will not be soluble in a polar solvent. Clear? Okay then. So solute dissolves the solvent because the intermolecular interaction are similar in both solute and the solvent. The second one is why naphthalene is not soluble in water. Deepa? Okay. See, naphthalene is soluble. See, Deepa, naphthalene is a non-polar molecule, whereas water is a polar molecule. Naphthalene is non-polar, whereas water is a polar. So the non-polar molecule will not be soluble in polar molecule. This is the formula of naphthalene. So this is the structure of naphthalene. Okay, this is naphthalene. There is no polarity in this, hence it is not. It is non-soluble in a water. ओके चलिए फिर आगे बढ़ते हैं तो देखो कोई सोल्यूट जो है if there are any solute that solute dissolves in a solvent because the intermolecular forces intermolecular interactions of forces between both solute and solvent are similar so they can form intermolecular force of attraction. Okay. So similarly, if you put oil in water, it will not dissolve. It does not dissolve in water. So as you can see, water layer is downward, so down. So the lower layer is water, and the top layer is oil. When they dissolve, you can try this at home as well. And take half glass of water and then put some oil in that, and then leave it for some time. You will see that oil will be at the top and water will be at the bottom. Okay. And so it's not soluble? Because polar dissolves polar and non-polar dissolves non-polar. Whereas here water is a polar molecule, but oil is a non-polar molecule. So polar plus non-polar is suspension won't mix even. There will be no solution here. Clear? Yeah. Deepa, density only matters about regarding which particular uh, solute or solvent, which particular component will be at the bottom and which will be at the top. Density does not matter in the solubility, but it matters if they are non-soluble, then which component will be at the bottom and which component will be at the top. For that, density matters. Okay. For solubility, density does not. Okay. Let's move forward. Let's talk about the solubility of a solid in a liquid. If we are solid and we are trying to dissolve that in and that is the dissolvable, then what is the effect of temperature and pressure? What is the effect of temperature and pressure? Okay. So see, if you dissolve solid in a liquid, means liquid plus you are adding solid in liquid, then due to dissolution you will get solution. If this solution starts crystallization, the solution starts crystallization, then you will get a liquid plus a solid. Means if your solid is basically have more amount, or the amount of solid is more than the solubility, then the crystallization will start and the entire mixture will not be solution. Entire mixture will not be solution. Okay. Clear? Yes or no? Okay. Then dissolution is basically solid solute dissolves in solvent, that is called dissolution. And if the solid solute starts spreading, then that is crystallization. So solute particles get separated out of a solution. Okay, Deepa, which part did you not got? Should I repeat the entire part again? Okay, cool. See, if we take a mixture of liquid and solid, then the solid will start dissolving in the liquid to prepare a solution, right? But the moment the amount of solid is more than the solubility, then our solution will start crystallizing. So will start crystallizing to separate out the solid particles. Okay, means this crystallization will start. Means the crystallization will start. So dissolution is basically solute particles, solid particles getting dissociated in solid. getting dissolved in a solute. Whereas the crystallization is those dissolved solute particles start separating out of the solution. That process is known crystallization. Okay, clear? Okay, then let's move forward. Then, so if you have a temperature, what does the temperature? What effect does the temperature have on the solubility of a solid in a liquid? Okay, look, in a saturated solution, according to the Legendre principle, means the effect of temperature on solubility of solid in liquid is as per the Legendre principle. And as per the Legendre principle, we know that the solubility can have two type of reactions, one is exothermic reaction and one is the endothermic. Means the dissolution can be endothermic or exothermic. So dissolution is endothermic. If dissolution is endothermic, means delta H is greater than zero. Delta H of solution is greater than zero. If delta H is greater than zero, means heat is getting absorbed. Heat is getting absorbed. Means heat is getting absorbed as per the Le Chatelet principle. If you increase the temperature, then the reaction will go in such a direction where heat is getting absorbed. Well, when you increase the temperature, there is more and more heat which is being created there. Means heat increases, and as per the Legendary principle, if there is any change in any of the factors of a reaction, then the reaction will move in such a way so that the effect could be nullified. So that the effect can be nullified. यहाँ पे अगर here if the temperature is being increased, that means heat is increasing. If heat is increasing, then the reaction will go in such a direction where reaction is absorbing some heat, and delta as greater than zero means the forward reaction is endothermic, means the forward reaction absorbing heat. So the reaction will go in the forward direction if we increase the temperature. Means forward direction means solubility increases. So if you increase the temperature, the solubility will increase. If you increase the temperature, the solubility will increase. Are you guys clear on that? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay then. Let's talk about the dissolution. What if the dissolution is exothermic? What if dissolution is exothermic? Means delta x is less than zero. Although delta x is less than zero, reaction is releasing heat. Increase the temperature, reaction releases heat. So if you increase the temperature, heat is being released. Reactions are also releasing heat. So there will be a lot of heat in our system. So reaction will try to go in such a way or in such a direction where the heat can be decreased. If a reaction is exothermic in forward direction, then it will be endothermic in backward direction. Why? Why so? Because reactant गिव प्रोडक्ट है इसका एच आर है एच पी है डेल्टा एच क्या है रे एंथैल्पी ऑफ प्रोडक्ट माइनस एंथैल्पी ऑफ रिएक्टेंट if this is greater than zero means enthalpy of product minus enthalpy of reactant is greater than zero. Therefore, the reverse reaction means from product to reactant. From product to reactant, enthalpy delta H will be enthalpy of reactant minus enthalpy of product. So enthalpy product minus enthalpy reactant is greater than zero. So enthalpy reactant minus enthalpy product will be less than zero. This is less than zero, then enthalpy of product minus enthalpy is this is less than zero, then this will be greater than zero. Right? Yes or no, guys? Yes or no? Yes, Anta. We discussed about the Legendre principle in detail in our chemical equilibrium chapter. Let me revise just a bit. Okay. Legendre principle says that if you change any factor which affects the equilibrium of a reaction, if you change any factor which affects the equilibrium of the reaction, then the reaction will move in such a direction so that the change can be nullified. So that the change which you have made, the effect of that change can be nullified. Okay, that is the Legendre principle. So basically, let's say if you are reducing the amount of product, then how can that effect be nullified? If more product can be formed, so more product will be formed as per the Legendre principle. Okay, clear something? Okay, then if that is clear, so if the forward reaction is exothermic, that means backward reaction will be endothermic. So the increase in temperature will result that so the increase in temperature will push the backward reaction more, hence the reaction will go in the backward direction. So temperature increases and solubility will decrease. So exothermic reactions to increase the temperature, solubility is going to decrease. Clear? That is clear. Quickly click on yes if you are in doubt, and quickly write in the chat section. Yes, guys, quickly now. It's clear. Quickly click on yes if you are in doubt, and quickly write in the chat section. Okay, let's talk about the effect of pressure. So see, the pressure does not have any effect on the solubility of solid in the liquid. Does not have any significant. The reason being, the solids and the liquids are non-compressible. Are non-compressible materials or non-compressible matters. Solids and liquids are incompressible or non-compressible. They're non-compressible, then they will be unaffected by change in pressure. Okay, they will be unaffected by change in pressure. Clear? Okay, let's talk about the solubility of gas in the liquid. Let's talk about the solubility of gas in the liquid. देखो जब हम गैस को किसी लिक्विड में डिसॉल्व करेंगे तो इंक्रीज कब होगी जब हम प्रेशर ज्यादा अप्लाई करेंगे गैस की सरफेस पे जब क्या करेंगे ज्यादा प्रेशर अप्लाई करेंगे क्यों देखो लिक्विड जो है उसमें व्हाट इज देयर in the liquid the particles are close to each other. In gas the particles are having free motion, they are away from each other, they have large distance between two particles. If you try to dissolve that gas particle in liquid, that means the gas particles will have to come slightly together. Gas particle will have to come slightly closer. But that is not the possibility in cases. But we can do that by applying some pressure. We can do that by applying some pressure. So if you increase the pressure, then the gas particles can come closer. That is exactly what we want for our gas to dissolve in liquid. So the solubility of a gas in liquid will increase as you increase the pressure. Clear? So as you can see here there is dynamic equilibrium. You increase the pressure and now you can see the difference between these two. Here the solubility is more. The second one, the solubility is higher than the first one. Okay. And in the third one, we have again the dynamic equilibrium. Clear? Yes or no, guys? Yes or no? Okay then. चलो तो जो गैस की solubility होती है liquid, the solubility of gas in liquid is also explained by Henry's law. Is also explained by Henry's law. Basically, Henry's law explained how the solubility of gas is dependent on the pressure. Okay. So, as per the Henry's law, solubility of a gas in liquid that is directly proportional to the partial pressure of the gas. Okay, let me repeat again. As per the Henry's law, the solubility of gas in liquid is directly proportional to partial pressure applied by gas on the surface of liquid. How much partial pressure or how much pressure a gas is applying on the surface of liquid, the solubility depends on that pressure. So it is directly proportional to that pressure. Clear? So as you can see here, solubility is basically Henry's constant to partial pressure. Here you have water, this is CO2, you apply the pressure or you increase the pressure, solubility increase the pressure further, solubility increase even further. Clear? So what is the Henry's law? Henry's law says that mole fraction of volatile solute, mole fraction of volatile solute is proportional to the vapor pressure of the solute. Means how much solute or what is the mole fraction of solute present in the solution is directly proportional to the vapor pressure of the solute on the liquid surface. Clear? So the mathematical expression becomes x is equals to kh into p is equals to kh into x, where p is the partial pressure, kh is the Henry's constant, and x is the mole fraction. kh is Henry's constant, x is the mole fraction, p is the partial pressure applied on the liquid surface. So if you increase the pressure on the surface, the kh remains constant, so the x will increase, x means mole fraction will increase. If mole fraction are increasing, that means more and more gas is getting dissolved in the liquid. More and more gas is getting dissolved in the liquid. So as you can see, increasing the particles of gas over a liquid increases the amount of gas dissolved in the liquid. As you can see here, initially there are a lot of gas particles in this gas, lot of gas particles in this chamber here. And now when you increase the pressure, there are less number of gas particles in this particular chamber here. This KH depends on the temperature. What is the value of gas that depends on the temperature. So that's how solidity of gas in the liquid is being affected by temperature and pressure. Okay, so for the pressure, as you increase the pressure, the solidity will be higher. So because the more and more gas particles are closure, whereas the temperature dependence is not directly, but it is KH Henry's law constant depends on the temperature. So if the temperature increases and the Henry's law constant is increasing, then the mole fraction will be lower because the pressure is constant. Okay. So graphical representation of Henry is that states that if graphical graphical representation of Henry states that higher the value of Kh, if you have higher value of Kh at a given pressure, this is the Henry's law equation. P is equals to Kh into X. This is high, this is constant, so the X will be high or low. Brother, KH is high, pressure is constant. X जो है वो high जाएगा या low जाएगा? Are you sure, Mini? Yes, Naveen. Neha. It will go low, ना? देखो, ये constant है, ये constant है, ये multiplication है. Multiplication अगर constant है, एक value बढ़ रही है, दूसरे को घटना पड़ेगा ना? अभी multiplication constant रहेगा. मतलब ऐसा है कि मैंने बोला कि multiplication जो 24 होना चाहिए. तुम्हारे पास ऑप्शन क्या है? तुम क्या कर सकते हो इसको 8 into 3 कर सकते हो. अब तुम क्या कर रहे हो कि इस 3 को इंक्रीज कर रहे हो. तुम क्या कर रहे हो इस 3 को इंक्रीज कर रहे हो. तो इस 3 को तुम इंक्रीज करो तो जो 8 है वो इंक्रीज होगा या डिक्रीज होगा. अगर मैं 3 को 4 किया तो यहाँ पे जो नया वैल्यू आएगा वो 6 आएगा ना. लाइक 6 into 4 is 24. जो 6 है वो 8 से बड़ा है कि छोटा है? Yes, Neha. So if this 6 is smaller than the 8, that means if you increase one value from two multiplied values, then the other one will have to decrease, so to remain or so to keep the multiplication in constant. इस मल्टीप्लिकेशन को कांस्टेंट रखने के लिए अगर kh इंक्रीज हो चुका है तो x को डिक्रीज होना ही पड़ेगा. is the lower the solubility of the gas in liquid. Solubility क्या होगी? lower होगी. x क्या है? मोल फ्रैक्शन है. मोल फ्रैक्शन कम होने वाला क्या? solubility कम होगी. Okay. Okay, let's move forward then. Let's talk about the applications of the Henry's. What are the applications of the Henry's? The first application is dissolving CO2 gas in our cold drink models. Dissolving CO2 gas in our cold drink bottles under a high pressure. Well, at the high pressure, the solubility of CO2 in cold drinks will be higher. So that's one application of memories. No. Another applications of memories knowledge in scuba diving. Okay. In scuba diving, what happens is when scuba divers move from high pressure to low pressure on liquid, then they uh, that causes a medical condition known as PANS, right? That causes a medical condition called a PANS, and that happens because when they go from top to bottom, so when they go from surface to the bottom of the sea, they experience high pressure. So the resultant of due to that high pressure, the uh, scuba divers feel more strain on their body. They feel more strain on their body. Okay. Now solubility of gas will increase with increasing the pressure. Means as you go down at the depth of the sea, pressure increases, so the solubility of gas will also increase. So if the solubility of gas increases, then they will experience more back condition, they will experience a medical condition called bands. Okay. Now let's quickly have a concept test. Let's quickly have a concept test. Question is the partial pressure of hydrogen in water is 1 bar at 275 degrees Celsius. The kh of hydrogen in water is 71.18 bar, and the solubility of hydrogen in water will be. If kh of hydrogen in water is 71.18 bar, then solubility of hydrogen in water will be. What will be the solubility? Is what mole fraction of hydrogen will be dissolved in water. Yes, guys, if you need more time, do let me know. I'll give you more time. No problem. You guys, give me one more minute. Quickly calculate this. Partial pressure of hydrogen in water is 1 bar at 275 degrees Celsius. If kh of hydrogen in water is 71.18 bars, then the solubility of hydrogen in water will be. As poll is also running now, so quickly respond to the poll. Okay. So let's see the results. As you can see, 17% are saying option A, 33% are saying option B, 50% are saying option C, nobody is saying option D. So let's quickly see what is the correct option. Okay, Pooja, Shanta, good. So as per the Henry's law, P is equals to Kh into X. And why we are using this particular equation? Why we are not using X is equals to Kh into P? Because in some that equation is also given. The reason being the unit of Kh is 71.18 bar. That's bar. Bar means we have the unit of pressure. So here is if there is a unit of pressure, then there should be unit of pressure here as well. It cannot be bar into bar because the mole fraction is unitless. So then the mole fraction will become bar square. That's not possible. Okay, that's not a quite possible. That is why we are using this expression, not using this one. The pressure is one. That's the concentration of hydrogen water is 1 bar. So that's one. KH is 71.18 into X. That's what we have to calculate. So X is equals to 1 upon 71.18. And when you solve this one, it can be written as 100 divided by 71.18, right? Yes or no? And you can show this one. This will be 1.4 into 10 to the minus 2. Now. Right? It should be 1.4 into 10 to the minus 2. So that means none of the options is correct. Okay. None of the options is correct. No problem. The solubility will be 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 2. Keep that in mind. Clear? That is clear. Quickly click on yes. If you have any doubt, then quickly write in the chat section. Okay then. Okay guys. So this is where we are ending of this class. Your homework is to complete the test practice problems into 15. That's solely straight. Complete that one. You have test on this Sunday. Okay. So prepare well. In the next class, we will be talking about the partial pressure of volatile solute and solvents in a solution. Means we are talking about the Raoult's. We will be discussing about the Raoult's law in the next class. So be prepared for that. Okay. Now I'm launching the feedback board. So quickly respond on that. And if you have any doubt, then quickly write in the chat section. Yes, guys. If you respond on the poll and don't have any doubt, then of course, class. No